Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Please ensure to like, share, and subscribe. And also click the bell notification in the top right-hand corner to be made aware anytime I upload tutorials or videos to YouTube. All right, let's craft together. Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to, when you're in the process of changing brands of sublimation ink, how to remove the ink from your cartridge so that you can get the ink completely free of that cartridge so that you can change it to a different brand of sublimation ink. You should never remove sublimation ink of one brand and then put a different brand in that same cartridge until you clean it out completely. So I'm going to be showing you how to do that process today. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be removing the ink from this cartridge. Okay, I'm going to be removing the ink from this cartridge, and here you can see the ink. So the cartridge is pretty full. You guys can see that. And so I'm going to use my weeding tool to pop this top off. Now I have the Epson Workforce 7720, so that's the printer that I'm going to be changing the ink for. Okay, I'm changing from Hippo ink over to A sub. Okay, so I'm just going to use my weeding tool, and you just try to get in one of the little crevices to pop this top off. And I want to make sure I'm not touching my ink thing here, so I'm going to go this way, and you just loosen that up. See how I just popped the, hopefully you guys can see that, pop that little door on it, and then you just remove it just like that, and that way you can see the ink supply much better, so you guys can see. So you'll be able to see how much ink is in there and make sure you get it really good and cleaned out. Okay, once you get that done, then you're going to take where you would normally put your ink, you're going to pop that lid off. Remove that. And then you're going to take your syringe and you're going to stick it in. Now, normally you would have your syringe in this position because you would be putting the ink into your cartridge. But this time we're going to go ahead and press it down because we're going to be removing the ink from the cartridge. So I'm going to try to get it down in this little corner as much as possible over to the far right here. I'm going to try to get it over there as best as possible. And then, and I have a really dirty rag here because I've already completed my other cartridges. This is the last one to do. And then I'm just going to, so you can kind of see, I'm just going to pull up and I'm going to turn it this way so you guys can see. But I'm going to pull up and you see the ink coming out. Okay. And then you just take that ink and I'm going to place the ink back into the Hippo bottle. So you're not wasting the ink. Sometimes these things are so hard to get off. All right, so I'm going to take and I'm going to put that ink right back in the Hippo bottle. Okay, and you're just going to keep putting the syringe in and siphoning out the ink until you get the majority of it out. Okay, so trying to get it where you can continue to see it. I'm working with both hands and trying to keep the camera on so you can see it at the same time. But you can see the ink is coming out now. Okay. And we're going to take that and put it back into the bottle of sublimation ink for the Hippo. And so now when you look at it, you can see that, get a good picture, you can see how the ink is coming out. Okay, this is how you remove the ink to change from one brand of ink to another brand of ink. Okay, so I'm going to pause you for a second. I'm going to continue siphoning this out. If you get to a point where you can't get any more from that side, you can turn it, you know, kind of play with it to get it up in this top corner up here to siphon from there. But, you know, keep a rag or a paper towel or something handy just in case your ink kind of comes out, because it really is a process for, you know, two people really. But if you don't have two people, you just do the best you can with getting it out. Now, once I get all of this ink out, I'm going to use water, and then I'm going to alternate and use alcohol. I'm going to put water and alcohol until I get this as clean as possible, okay? So it's going to be a combination of water and alcohol, water, and I'm going to finish up with alcohol. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish trying to get as much of this out, and then I'll bring you back. All right. All right. Now that I've gotten all the ink as much as I can out, I'm going to go ahead and put my Hippo Sublimation ink back up. And I'm going to show you my cartridge here. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we have just a little bit of ink in there, but that's going to come out once we start doing our water and alternating with between water and alcohol. We'll be able to get the remainder of this. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take your syringe, put it in water, and then we're going to put the water, you know, just put it in an empty cup. And we're going to continue to siphon out water until we get it kind of clear. And then we're going to put clear water. We're going to shoot clear water into our cartridge. Okay, so that's pretty good there. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going to put that water. Let me turn it around so you can see it. We're going to put that water into the cartridge. See if I can make it where you can see it better. So I'm putting that into the cartridge, and you can see it's filling up. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to put the top back on. And I'm going to kind of shake it up to kind of help to clean it out. Hard working with these gloves on. I'm just going to shake that up. Try to get it in some of these crevices. It takes about, for me, it takes about a good 35 minutes to do one cartridge. I think the black was the easiest. I thought it would be the hardest because it's the bigger cartridge, but the black was super easy to me. And you're going to go in and do the same process. You're going to now go in and you're going to siphon that water out. See that color? You're going to siphon that out and put it in your cup over here with the water, with the dirty water. And so you can see how it's starting to, you know, kind of get a little cleaner here. Now, what I found is that you're not going to be able to get it perfect, but you want to get as much of that ink, that previous brand of ink out as possible. So you may have to kind of play around with your cartridge to kind of get that water to kind of move, you know, so you can get it. Some people do this over the sink. This is my first time changing brands. So I'm going to try to get it down in there. And again, I'm going to alternate between water and alcohol. So after I do the water process, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the alcohol just like I did the water. Okay. And I'm just going to be using, this is 70% alcohol. And you want to make sure you're going into the hole that has the ink in it, not the air hole. Okay, so you can see we're getting there. Okay. Sometimes if you find that you have ink over on this side, you can take off your needle and use this to do a reverse where you have this down and then you pull up. You put it in the air hole and then you pull up. Try to get that ink to move. And that'll also move that ink around for you. So I'm putting it into that air hole and pulling up to get that ink to kind of come down for me. Okay, so I'm going to go in. I just showed you how to do the water. I'm going to do the same process with the alcohol. I'm going to use a little cup to put alcohol in. And it doesn't take very much, but I'm going to go water, alcohol, water, alcohol. So I'm going to finish up with alcohol. So you're going to take and put your needle back on. And we're now going to siphon out some alcohol. And I have, you can't even see the numbers anymore. I feel the numbers. But about half of the syringe with alcohol. And I'm going to push that back down in just like I did the water. Again, this is to help clean and free yourself, so you can see it's even looking even better. Okay, but the goal is to get out as much. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to siphon out this alcohol, and then so I'm going to pause you. I'm going to siphon out the alcohol, and then I'm going to come back. So I'm going to do one more water, one more alcohol, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you where we are. Okay. So I've completed a water, alcohol. I'm going to go back in and do one more water, alcohol. And then I'm going to turn this over and just let it kind of dry out. And then I'm going to be ready to put my other brand, my A-Sub Sublimation ink in. Okay. So you guys can see. Okay. So you want to get it as clean as possible. So I did one water, one alcohol. I'm going to go back in and do another water and finish up with alcohol. And after that, I'm just going to let it kind of air dry a little bit before I put my other ink in. When I get ready to put my other ink in, I'm going to show you that process with putting in that A-Sub ink and putting it in my Epson Workforce 7720. And we're going to do the whole test run, the whole shebang. So this was just about how do you remove the ink when you're getting ready to switch brands from one Sublimation ink brand to another Sublimation ink brand. Very easy, just time consuming, okay? All right, so again, one more water, one more alcohol, and then we're gonna let it air dry, okay? So that's pretty much it for this video. You just wanna make sure that you get it as close as possible to getting all the ink out. And you guys can see we've done a pretty good job. You have a little bit of color over here, but it's not ink, okay? It's just darker on that side for some reason. But it's not like jumping all, you know, it's not like a deal breaker or anything, okay? So there you have it. I'm gonna do one more water, one more alcohol. Always finish with the alcohol, guys, okay? And that's it. So I have already completed, these three. So all of these are done. There's no ink in them. They are completely empty. Okay. So I've already let them sit overnight, but I didn't have the capacity. Just now starting back out. I didn't have the capacity to be able to finish them all in one day. So I'm going to finish this one. I'm going to let it air dry. And then the next tutorial you're going to see is me putting the A-Sub ink into these, putting them in the Epson Workforce 7720, and then showing you how to do the print head and all that good stuff. All right. All right, guys, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. And you know, my motto is each one reach one so that each one can teach one. All right. Bye.